Hello everyone and welcome to this commentated PV for Shin Megami Tensei 2 80%. So this is quite a new, it's not a new category, This category has existed for quite some time. This is an entirely new route that brings the time down over an hour. So let me give some perspective on the old route before I start explaining the new route, as we will just be going through the game very normally for the first 15 minutes, and I can summarize what happens very quickly. So for some perspective, the 80% route, the old one, used manipulation, which this one uses as well, to get a lot of item drops and fill up the inventory. So a glitch called item change could be executed, and item change would allow you to gain access to some of the best armor and equipment in general very early into the game, along with some incenses to boost up your stats, so you could go for the game as fast as possible because you have boosted up stats and you just destroy everything. Not only that, but you also would execute a different glitch called a Triesta Warp, which warps you from this very first town in Valhalla to Yesod in Makai, which is one of the last dungeons. And doing that and going through only the necessary dungeons in order to complete the game, we could finish a speedrun in under 2 hours, just around under 2 hours. So it'd be very fast compared to the current no major glitches record, which is 3 hours and 20 something minutes. Now this route does something completely different. It still executes, it doesn't really execute item change though. It still has some inventory shenanigans where we need the inventory to look a very specific way in order to execute the glitch that we'll execute. It's definitely still utilizes manipulation, as the video you are watching right now is currently on manip, and I'll explain how manip works in this game very shortly. And it utilizes a completely different glitch, which, as far as I know, was originally found by a fellow SMT1 speedrunner, PPO, who found it while playing SMT If, but as both games share the same engine, the glitch was found out to be, it could still be executed on this game. And obviously this route and all of these findings were documented by Masaya, known Shin Megami Tensei connoisseur, known SMT1 router and speedrunner and just extraordinaire, who published a video explaining exactly how you could activate the debug mode. So that's basically what we're going to do. We are going to execute a very specific instructions in order to unlock the debug mode in this game, and then we'll only trigger the flags to be able to watch the credits. Simple as that. So let's start with manipulation, which is the first step of this run. So right off the bat, we need to hit a very specific frame, which relies on how do I explain the manip actually? No, give me a second. So right from the intro, you need to hit a specific frame when you're loading the game or clicking new game, and this frame will set your RNG, and then the RNG is calculated determinedly, as in it will always change the very same way if you execute the same steps, and that's how we can keep the manipulation. We always hit the same frame, and we do the same steps, and we can ensure that the same things will happen. And why do we need manip? We need it because recruitments in this game are very unreliable, and if we were to not use manip, then it would be, it would be down to RNG, how well you got the recruitment to go. Whereas if you have manip, you can be sure that you will get the demons. And we need 3 demons. We need High Pixie, which we'll be getting right here after this encounter. This is a zombies encounter, if I remember correctly. We escaped from this one. we're going to need a Spartan, which we'll be getting inside the Colosseum, as we need to fight Bradware for this run. And we'll be getting an Impusa, which will recruit after defeating Mercurius, which is also a necessary step in order for the glitch to be executed. For some reason, the RAM check just will not get activated if you haven't defeated Mercurius. So we still need to get Cerberus and go talk to the Madame and go to the Slums, do all those fights, come back, and only then can we start doing the glitching part. And that's basically how manipulation works. Right now, I said exactly the things that I knew would get Pixie to join us, and now we're going to head to the Colosseum. We have, on the very first virtual battle, we got 1 level, put our points into speed, and now we're doing a couple more fights. Most of the fights that we're going to do soon are just going to be so we can level up and get a full heal. We're also going to put 1 point into strength so we can defeat Bradware, as that fight can be a little dangerous, especially at the low level that we currently are. So right here we're going to escape from these encounters, and we're going to be picking up most of, not most actually, there's a lot of equipment spread about this dungeon. We're going to be picking up a lot of the equipment spread about this dungeon, just so we can get good enough equipment to defeat Bradware, and also for the inventory lineup that I explained earlier. So what are the items that we're going to be needing? We will need a Fritz helm, oh god, I did not know this by memory. I need to open the notes. I really prepared for this commentary, as you might notice. Here we're going to be getting the Spartan, as I mentioned earlier. And as I was saying, you'll need the Fritz helm, the high leg armor, the Jaeger boots, the Jaeger gloves, the survival vest, and the headgear. And then we're going to be buying 50 medicines and 5 disc poisons, and this will sort out the inventory. Right now we have finished picking up everything. We got the slicer, which is the weapon that we'll be using for all the fights. We're just equipping everything, because we now have the Spartan and the High Pixie. We can talk to some of the encounters, which is faster than just trying to fight them, especially because when you fight them, you're at the chance of getting attacked and lowering your health. You know how this game works. So we're going to be talking to some of the recruitments. We're going to be fighting other recruitments. This manip was not done by me. I must mention that this route and this manip was all done by Symm, my buddy Symm, RTA. I really appreciate him doing everything by himself, because God knows I did not want to route it. So yes, another thing I didn't mention is that we don't name any of the characters. This puts a lot of points into chaos, but your alignment is completely irrelevant, because we can just simply trigger whatever ending we want, and it doesn't really have any bearing on how the game goes. So we'll accept Hiroko right away. We won't name any of the characters. We'll basically do whatever we want. All that matters is for the glitch to be executed correctly. And we want points into speed so we can run away from the encounters, which we'll be getting a lot of later into the run, unfortunately. This run can definitely be optimized by someone who keeps a manip that doesn't have any random encounters. My current manip that wasn't really a manip, it was just how unfortunately I was always playing, has a lot of random encounters. So if someone wants to come along and get an easy world record, simply manip past Impusa, keep the manip, and you will probably get a much better run than this. But you know, I'm still happy with this. I'm happy I learned this run, and I'm happy that even for a brief moment in history, I had both the no measure glitches and the 90% world records for SMT2, as I really enjoy this game. But you know, I'm not here to brag. I'm just happy. I'm sharing my happiness. So we get Hiroka to join, and after this we'll simply walk to the Madame, who's going to tell us the history of Valhalla and how a child ran away. You know, you've played this game, hopefully. If you haven't, then I wouldn't want to spoil it anyway. This is basically the only category that you can watch of this game that won't spoil you the entire game. So go play the game after you watch this. We are bookmarking the terminal as we will need to go back and forth between Valhalla and Yesod, the place that we're going to Triesta Warp later into. So with this bookmarked, we're gonna just walk to the Madame Mansion, get Cerberus, not named Beth, and then come back and head to the Slums. We'll be killing some of these poltergeists so we can get some magnetite. The glitch relies on magnetite, and to be specific, relies on your lack of magnetite. But we do still need some magnetite so we can get back and forth between the dungeons, and the game doesn't start breaking right away. So we fight both of these poltergeists. Both of them might be a bit too much, but you know, it's not like we're spending a lot of time having to spend all the magnetite anyway, so it's okay. And now we're going to fight Mercurius. Mercurius is this one demon that gets accidentally summoned after the scientist tries to open the gate to Makai and fails. And we defeat it very easily because we have Cerberus, who is level 40. So he kind of just dies right away. It's one of these, still basically a tutorial fight. Especially with Cerberus in our party. So after this we put one more point into speed, we get a speed incense that we never use, we just sell it. And now we're going to head right back to the town of Valhalla, getting the Impusa on the way, which is a pretty simple recruitment to get when it's maniped. When it's not maniped, it's a bit of a nightmare. We simply talk whole day and everything's done. I did, however, mess up the movement in this run. I'm not exactly sure where, but I feel like the movement that I always do is different from Symm's, and Symm's is correct, mine isn't correct. So I had to fix some of the RNG by using Dia. So any spells, any steps you take in an encounter zone, and any spells you use consume an RNG value and shifts you to the right one. Not the right one, what am I saying? Shifts you to the next one. And at this point, my movement in the no encounter zone, which doesn't consume RNG, had been basically too much. I walked too far, so I was too ahead on the moon cycle. So I had to consume some RNG values so I could still get the Impusa encounter to spawn while it was still 7 out of 8 moon. If it's full moon, you can't recruit it because you can't recruit demons at full moon. So I used Dia 3 times, which consumes 3 values, and with that done, Impusa still spawns at 7 out of 8 moon and we can actually recruit it. That's basically just what's going to happen. Then we're going to walk to Valhalla. So now we're back in Valhalla and we're going to the shopping that I mentioned. First of all, we need to unequip all of the items that we'll need for the glitch to happen, which we actually need in our inventory, so we need to unequip them. Having them equipped means they don't show up in your inventory at all. And now we're going to sell every item that we don't need so they don't show up in the inventory. That's the attack knife, the muscle drink, the slicer, the incenses, one of the helms, 2 of the Rebetta knuckles, the slums, which I'm not exactly sure what they are, and the gun and bullets. Actually, we don't equip the bullets. And now we're going to buy 5 of these poisons, and we're going to be buying 9 packs of medicines 6 times, and then 1 pack of 8. And there you go. And now we're going to sell 1 of the medicines, because basically what we need to do is we need the inventory to look exactly like I will describe right now. So there's 2 rows, one to the left and one to the right, and it's going to need to look like 9 medicine on left, headgear, 9 medicine on left, 5 disc poisons, 8 medicines, survival vests, 8 medicines, Jaeger gloves, 8 medicines, Jaeger boots, 8 medicines, high leg armor, 8 medicines, Fritz helm. It needs to look like this for the debug check to work. So what we do is, because when you use the medicine, it always uses one from the top stack, the very first one that shows up here in the inventory. We use one medicine off the top stack, and then we keep switching. So we keep switching between the 9 stacks, so that the 9s are on top, and then we use the medicine so that it becomes an 8 stack, and then we switch back and forth so we can get all these 8 stacks. This is a terrible description of what's happening, but I seriously cannot describe it any better. They need to be 8, and if you just use them randomly, or if you just sell things, they will sort themselves out. You'll get a pack of 6 and then a bunch of 9s. So it needs to be done like this, just trust me. And now the Triesta Warp happens, so we use Triesta, and right now we're in Yesod. It's as simple as that. It needs to happen in that tile, it needs to happen after you talk to that one person, but then after you use it, you are sent one step back, and because all dungeons are adjacent to each other in memory, that very corner of the disco is connected to that very tile in Yesod. So just like that, you're in Makai. So first thing we do is we bookmark the terminal here, so we can come back as soon as we need to. And then we go back to that one Valhalla terminal that we bookmarked, so we can set up the glitch. So this is the reason why we recruited all those demons. We're going to get Hypixie out, who's a low level demon that has Dia, and we're going to get Spartan out, which is a very weak demon that we will need to kill later. That's why it has such low HP. And now we're going to set up the glitch, which requires getting auto to repeat itself. So, not auto, what am I talking about? Getting Dia to repeat itself in auto. So we just use Dia on the first party member, and now the auto is set up. Because we set auto to repeat last actions once we started the run, the next fight that we do, regardless of whether or not we run away from any fights in the meantime, which we'll have to do anyways, if you choose auto, then every party member will defend, as we said, except for Hypixie, who will be using Dia on the first party member. And this is one of the things necessary for the glitch to work. Now after this we're going to heal up, because we need to set up a value in memory later into the run. And in order to do that, we need only 2 characters to show up at the healer. Just trust me. Just take my word for it. And now we're wearing out all of the mag, as we need 0 mag for the glitch to work. Right now we reached 0 mag. We're going to return all of the demons, except for Cerberus, so not all the demons. And we're going to transfer back to Yesod, which is where the glitch can actually happen, and save and reset. Saving and reset is necessary. I guess you just need a fresh SRAM or something like that. I'm just saying words at this point. So save, reset. Reload the save. And now we need to deplete Hiroku's MP 18 points, and to deplete Cerberus HP to 441. So we're going to we use Medea twice, which consumes a lot of MP, and Mapper, which is also necessary for the glitch. And now we're using Dia twice, so she only has 24 MP left, which is 18 less than she originally had. And now we're going to be walking around with 0 mag, which hurts Cerberus, until he has 441 HP left. And the reason why we do that is because when we're at the healer, we need the value 279 to show up. We're not actually, this value is the price that it costs to heal both Hiroko and Cerberus. We don't need to actually heal them, we just need the value to show up in memory. We're going to summon Spartan, who's the character that's going to die as soon as we do this. And we're going to show the value. So just look at the top right corner, 279, there for a second. It got written into the RAM. And now we're going to kill Spartan for the glitch to happen. This glitch basically always happens after a reload, once the character dies. So as soon as this character dies, a lot of random things start happening. So if you can read the text, it says that Satan is returned to the comp, which is not a character that we have. And all of these weird visual glitches start happening, and as soon as they stop, now we're going to use auto with Hypixie, which will activate the RAM check. Yes, using auto on a random encounter, which has been set to Dia on a character that's dead, will unlock the debug mode, which is called RAM check in this game. And it will go like this. We're going to leave, we're going to walk around until we get a random encounter, we're going to auto, and then some random numbers will pop up in our screen. If we can get the numbers to pop up, that means the glitch happened correctly, and we unlock the debug mode. And there you go. We got that one number to show up beneath Moon, and the RAM check should be unlocked now, and it's going to show up on the comp right next to config. And now we're going to set some values. We're going to set 1-1, which deactivates King Frost, I think. You know what? Actually, I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure which one is 1. FF deactivates random encounters. We're going to return these demons so we stop getting the animation of mag being depleted. We turned off. In fact, we turned on having defeated King Frost. We turned on the Holy Town terminal, we turned on the neutral ending, and we turned on no encounters. Why is this relevant? Because we need to transfer to Holy Town, which is where the neutral ending triggers, in order for us to be able to go out, because you're not supposed to even be able to enter this dungeon before defeating King Frost. So you need to activate having defeated King Frost, and then you don't want any random encounters so you don't mess anything up here. So now we just leave, and there you go. There's the ending. This is the neutral ending, which in JRTA is the shortest ending. If this game was to be timed, just unlocking any ending, then Chaos would be faster, as we only need to activate the Roppongi terminal and then walk outside. No need to actually go to the overworld and then re-enter and re-leave. But because SMT2 is timed in JRTA, which requires you to watch all of the credits, then we activate the neutral ending, which is the shortest of all the credits. And with that being said, this was the 90% run. It's quite convoluted, very hard to explain. I wish I could give more details on how the glitch works, how the glitch ends up triggering the debug mode to even show up in the first place, but I will be honest, I don't know. I simply don't know, and even Masa's explanations are hard to understand. I know he knows, but they are quite hard to understand, and the language barrier does not make it any easier. But the fact that, the bulk of the matter is that it works, and this was done on console, so we could have the guarantee that it's not only an emulator glitch. And it's quite fascinating to watch, honestly, and to execute. It's a pretty interesting run, and I'm glad that any percent has a similar time to SMT1 any percent now, and it's no longer 2 hours and quite as boring as it used to be. So yeah, this was my rough commentary. I hope you enjoyed. I know it was quite convoluted and not too organized. I did this run earlier and I did not prepare any commentary. I just thought I'd add some commentary to make the run a little bit clearer than it is just watching it. But maybe I made it more confusing, I don't know. But either way, Enjoy the credits, they're quite long. And that was it for me. I'll see you on the next speedrun. Goodbye.